I don't know if you ever thought about it, but there's a lot that goes into a semi-auto handgun system for testing and review, at least here in TMP. For instance, when I do a run and gun with a semi-auto handgun, I need extra magazines, usually about 5, and I need a lot of these, which has resulted in a lot of holsters in the Nut and Fancy project. And I could dump 4 more boxes on the table. Yeah, no lie, of holsters just for TNR. I love the universal holster system, kind of like the Black Hawk drop down. You've seen that for years. And the horizontal, kind of like the old Tac Force one. They're not the fastest. They don't retain absolutely with all different types and sizes of handguns, but they're universal. And when I'm out there running and gunning, I don't have to waste time swapping holsters around. And there is another downside to plastic and Kydex, which I'll hopefully tell you throughout the review. But yeah, maximum speed, retention, you want a fitted holster system, and that's what this video is about. At least for 2 manufacturers. Number one you can see here is BladeTech. I will attempt to cover a lot of their line that they have. It's mostly XLnt. And then Black Hawk, namely SERPA. And then somehow Galco snuck in there for my XDS Shield. I have a whole thing of leather holsters too. All right, ground rule. I know there's a lot of great holster manufacturers out there, but I'm not super motivated to go out and review them because number one, I don't have the ad money anymore. Nope. And the space to store them. So I'm pretty happy with these too. So especially the SERPA system. It just works so well for us. I just like, why do I need to go find something else? It's light, retains. Oh wait, I'm jumping ahead. So if guys though, you need to review this one, that one, this is the one I chose. I probably won't. Sorry. You know, just incidentally through the years I might, but it's just I don't have the resources to do it. So BladeTech versus SERPA is basically what this is going to be about. I'm going to get into the details of the various holster systems. There's all kinds here. Again, it's just a smattering of what we have to have. But let's talk about the foundation of your holster system, and that, of course, will kind of go back to a philosophy, favorite word here. What do you want to do with it? First, I would put down the large category of tactical use. You're a war fighter of whatever sort. Maybe you're a 4 Constitution law enforcement officer, a military member, or a civilian defending home and life and property in whatever situation you want to throw down. That to me is a tactical situation where you're going to be wearing a loadout of some sort because the propensity for you to use those weapons is high. So you're not going to carry concealed, you're going to be wearing basically LBE. Secondly, I would say daily carry externally, kind of like patrol, and that is you're going to have an outside the waistband holster. You're an officer of some sort, or in your job you need to carry a gun externally, not a complete tactical loadout, but just a handgun. That is daily carry in my opinion. And then thirdly, and not lastly, is concealed carry, which is very popular with all types of civilians, as it should be, and I'll touch on that a little bit. But that is the foundation. When we look at this holster systems, remember what category does it fall into. Going back to the run and gun here in TMP, this is a 1911 holster. You can see because I engrave it. Because having so many when we're grabbing it, and there's so many things we have to take out there in the desert, it's so work intensive, and time is always short. Anything I can do to shortcut it, I will. I recommend you do the same if you have different weapon systems, because you might grab that and go, oh, that looks like it's a Beretta 92. Nope, 1911, engrave it. But when you see us run and gunning, we're running a tactical system. And specifically, we're running, and have been for years, we're running the Black Hawk SERPA system right here. This is, I don't know if they still make this one with a hood on it. That's like a sight protective hood. Great for Glock. It's like a full-size Glock one. There's a Glock 22, I'll just by way of reference coming in here. I'll tell you this, I love the SERPA system, and that's why you've seen it for so many years in TMP. It just works. Is it perfect? No, one thing I wish the SERPA did is if it was more compact. It sticks out so much. I wish this was like half, so the holster was only like a ½ inch from the MOLLE plate. Okay, and I don't mind the SERPA system. I think there's been criticisms over the years. I'm not so sure, but you know, people would pull it out and say, well, they get excited and then they'll slap right into the trigger. You know, I've never seen that personally. Haven't seen it at all, but I don't know. Maybe it's happened. I've never seen it in all the running and gunning we've done, and I just don't think it's an issue. Other guys say, well, with the SERPA system, you can get rocks in here, and it will prevent the deployment of the gun. This button will get stuck. I have heard of guys who I trust tell me that's happened to them. I haven't seen it. And I've thrown myself in the dirt quite a bit, as you've seen in the running guns, with these. They're heavily worn. Another huge plus of the SERPA tactical system, and this, by the way, is what it looks like, the SERPA holster platform. And these are just excellent. They're lightweight. They're made of a really high-strength polymer. They include screws. They're adaptable, and man, do they lock in. You want retention, dude. These retain. Voice of experience. Almost too good. You got to get your Swiss Army knife out to pry these things out. See how that's like nicked up? That's from me with a Cadet Swiss Army knife, prying it out from MOLLE as we swap it from vest to vest. Another project, mini project. And the way, and I'm talking about SERPA obviously right now, and the way you disengage these and engage them is just like this. So you'll put a backing plate on your favorite holster. Right now this is horizontally oriented, which I like to run my guns. Chest mounted pistol, go check that video out. It's like 5-6 years old. And then it locks in. Very positive. I like it. And it's not super heavy. This one is 11.5 ounces, and that's the big one. And then this one was cut down. So it basically had a hood on it, and I just hacksawed it and then sanded it a little bit. And I think this fits the Glock as well. Oh, sick. And notice you have full presentation for grip here. You know, so to get it out, it's quick. And remember, if you decide to run chest-mounted pistol, try not to do this. Like, angle into your chest. Just try to keep it out like that. And I had a whole video out there one time in the field. I talked about chest-mounted pistol again. And one of the things is, in the courses of fire, like, you go to competition or something, you're not going to be able to run these. Because you're pointing the gun to the next dude, and they don't know how good you are. They always want you to have a belt-mounted holster. And by the way, speaking of competition, I would think that would pretty much fall into tactical purpose, like we started at the outset. In other words, you're going to access your weapon, you know it's coming, so you want a fast, positive rig. You might throw that into patrol or daily carry as well. So that's the SERPA system. There's a couple more on the table. Let's see, that's an XGM one. These are Duracoated, by the way, by myself. I think that is, I forget what the coloration that is. I'll try to think of it. Magpul Flat Dark Earth is what I think it is. And backing plate on that. Here's one for 1911. You saw that one earlier. And there's another one I probably threw off the table when I dumped it all. Okay. There's a Phobos in here too. I'll talk about that. There's a 226 rail. Now the competition we're going to throw up against it is going to come from maybe the duty category. And that is, it's called the WROS level 2 duty holster. Right here. That's one of the many that BladeTech make, and here it is right here, and I think this is a Glock one here. See, I didn't engrave these because I don't know if I'll keep them or resell them. There you go. Very positive snap. It's cool, and it uses a completely different retention system and actually a level 2 security system, which prevents the bad guy taking your gun if and when you get in a tussle with him on the ground. There's level 2 and there's level 3. There's a level 2 security system. And then you'll just pop it like that, draw your gun. Will the bad guy know how to do that? Probably not. Oh, and by the way, this is another good time for me to tell you what I was going to mention, and that is one reason I like a universal holster in run and gun is for slide wear. Because some of the guns we'll buy and we resell them, but if they're all worn from all the dust and dirt and coming in and out of kydex and stuff like this, you know, it's just money lost. So they will wear your weapon more. Just an aside. This one is made of thicker kydex material. I prefer the .080 whenever I can get it. It's lighter weight. Speaking of which, this is a backing plate for, we're looking at, again, I think it's a WRS duty holster by BladeTech. It's a good system, and then this will slide in like so, and this one is horizontally mounted. And they can't use a SERPA system, obviously. They have to come up with their own way to attach, and there's other manufacturers that do it as well. And then you have this tab that will snap down. And then you have your MOLLE straps that will come in here. It's a very secure system. I have tested it, and it's excellent. However, it is heavier. Heavier. Oh, and I lied, by the way. The weight I gave you on the BladeTech, on the SERPA, was actually for the BladeTech. This one, with the backing plate, is 8.8 ounces. Yeah, the weight I gave you was 11.5 ounces. It's for this one. Sorry about that. And yeah, that's heavy. That's the biggest downside on this particular BladeTech, the WRS system with a MOLLE backing plate. They need to lighten it up. A lot of the weight is coming from these rubber straps, which are cool. They weave good, they retain well, but it's just too darn heavy. I mean, having 12-ounce holster, forget about it. I don't need a holster that thick anyhow. I don't. Then if you add this, like this is a drop-down platform, which I pretty much never run because I don't want that mass on my leg. It's just more weight that I got to get moving in order to start running. Lessons learned in the run and gun. The more crap you strap around your thigh, the harder it is for you to run fast and score more points. You want to carry it up towards your belt, on your chest. If you're going down in dirt shooting prone, then you probably don't want to carry it on your chest. You can just carry it high on your belt line. But this is a backing plate, and these together, you remove this MOLLE plate, snap it in, that's a heavy rig. Now to be fair, if I was to slap this sucker on, and I don't have it on the table, a Blackhawk SERPA on its platform, it's not super light, just saying, but it's going to be lighter than the WRS system. Okay, so I'm not super thrilled on it, just for weight. Too thick kydex, retention system's excellent. I love the MOLLE plate, it's just too freaking heavy. No, not for me. Incidentally, here's a Phobos. You want to talk about a light plastic holster? This one was Duracoated, same coloration. I think this is in Magpul Flat Dark Earth as well. Great holster. They're not super strong though, and there's been complaints about guys can come here and just pop these rivets out and twist it. A guy can come up behind you. Yeah, I can see that. But again, is that going to be a frequent occurrence? Hopefully not. And just, you know, if a dude wants to like do that, just jam that down. This is for a SIG though. I don't have a SIG on the table. Jam your gun in the holster. He's going to have a harder time doing it. But criticisms on strength for this one, which leads us to some more and actually more excellent BladeTech offerings like ish. And that is they're inside the waistband line. These are extremely affordable. That's for a Glock 1923. And I love these. I think they're like 20 bucks. And I know Uncle Mike's makes them. There's one for a 1722. There's a lot of them. I get it. But let's look at this one. First off, notice the thinness of it. I think these are running .080. Okay, and let me just mention really quick. In the inside the waistband line of BladeTech, here comes some photos. You have IWB Standard. The IWB Fits All. The Razor inside the waistband. The Ultimate Concealment model. Inside the waistband with tack light. A favorite of mine, the Nano inside the waistband, and that is running the .080 kydex, very thin. You have a hybrid tuckable. I'm laughing because there's so many. And then you have a Klipt Appendix holster, and that I think is fitting the Shield XDS, which are two Hall of Fame subcompacts here in TMP, and then the less excellent LC9. But this is a representation of the whole lineup. So you have Hypalon or polymer straps, which will snap in. It's not going to be as comfortable as leather. Sorry, leather is just going to be more comfortable. Or even a hybrid holster, which they also have. I think I mentioned that. The hybrid tuckable, just like everyday holsters, and a lot of others are doing the same one. Those are cool holsters. Those are actually the most comfortable I found. But this is simple, it's cheap, and it works. You can see it's got a protective side here for your Glock. So it's not abrading you. I have carried this around. You guys know I like carrying my fanny pack. So I don't do inside the waistband very often. It's mostly shoulder holster. Galco Classic Light Suede. And it works for me. But a lot of dudes do. Here's adjustable retention right here if you want it. For 20 bucks, dude. It's excellent. And again, if you want more specialization in the BladeTech lineup, then you know, go with those special ones like the Ultimate Concealment, the Razor. Those are excellent as well. And for concealment, I would spend some time on their website and try to figure out what's best for you. Incidentally, here's an AR-15 BladeTech. It's stamped with Brownells. I think they make it for Brownells. I Durcoated that as well. Just running a PMag. Here's what it looks like normally. This, the call number, actually, when we purchased it. These are excellent, and this kind of gets back to that competition. So if you're doing a run and gun, you know you just need one magazine. Dude, right here. It's fast. If I'm fighting a war and it's snowing and raining, and I'm going to be hiking mile after mile, am I going to carry an AR-15 mag like this? Heck no, I'm not. It's going to be in a pouch protected. That's just me, though. And again, lots of other manufacturers out there. When you compare the SERPAs of this sort against, I don't know if SERPA is the right line, but Blackhawk ones against this, the BladeTech's actually kind of like a little bit better just because they're so inexpensive. They're super lightweight and they retain well. And if you're like me and have a lot of weapon systems, pistol systems, you know, you hear these guys all the time, well, you need to buy this one. And you roll over to their website and see what cost it is. It's like $90 a holster. And you've got like 5 guns you need to holster up. It's kind of like the scope thing. Guys like, well, that glass sucks. I only like, you know, Night Force or Swarovski, Leopold on my gun. I was like, yeah, how many guns you got? 10? Oh, you're going to spend $2,000 on each scope? No. You're going to spend $150 on each holster of your gun? No. Spend 20. That's doable. Go spend some time at BladeTech's website. Again, they have a lot of great holsters for cheap prices. Don't buy them from there. Go to another third party. BowTac. I don't even know if BowTac's still carrying them. But you can find them around there. Highly recommended. That WRS one. Maybe not so much. That's a Nut and Fancy review. See ya.